YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. And welcome back to the Rob Cam show with your boy Rob Cam. You feel me? Yo, what's up, guys? You already know what the vibes is. We are doing another reaction video. This time we are reacting to Russell Fun and his rise and fall of Cody Rhodes video. Been wanting to do this one for a minute. As always, go subscribe to Russell Fun. Leave a like on his video. If you want to check out his channel, everything will be in the description below. Subscribe to Rob Cam. Leave a like on this video. Share to your friends and do all that good stuff. But without further ado, let's get straight into it.
June 27th, 2011, the day wrestling changed forever.
Before I leave in 3 weeks with your WWE Championship, I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
CM Punk sat cross-legged on the ramp with a mic in his hand and said everything you're not supposed to say. He broke the fourth wall, he called out the corporate machine, and he didn't hold back, taking direct aim at names like John Cena, The Rock, and Vince McMahon.
You're better at than I am, and that's kissing Vince McMahon's ass.
Some people called him a traitor, a selfish man. Others called him an anarchist, a rebel, the only one bold enough to stand in front of the system and spit in its face. CM Punk's pipe bomb shook the foundation of a dying industry in the middle of the sterile PG era. And in a moment that didn't feel scripted at all, he talked about leaving WWE with the title and defending it in Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. In that moment, he became the voice of the voiceless. And the pipe bomb? It became the most important chapter of modern-day wrestling. Punk's words were about to light a fire, but here's the thing, it wasn't Punk who brought that revolution. Someone else did. Who, you ask?
I did them.
I held every grain of the revolution in my hand, and each and every one of you cheer!
Cody Rhodes, born as wrestling royalty, the second son of the legendary American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Cody was destined for greatness, even before he ever stepped a foot in the ring. But things didn't go as planned. Instead of inheriting his father's throne, Cody walked away. He left it all behind to forge his own path, to build his legacy from scratch, out in the wilderness of the independent scene.
Hey, I remember when Cody got released from WWE. When it first happened, it's not gonna happen again, obviously. When it first happened, I remember I was like, yo, because I was a fan of Cody Rhodes, especially when he was on SmackDown. He was doing the dashing and the undashing Cody Rhodes gimmick, and he was like, he changed the IC title, did all this thing. When he left, I was like, yeah, they should have never let him leave, because he definitely was one of those ones that was part of the future as we see today in modern day. But I remember when I heard he was leaving, I was happy, because at the time, especially in WWE, you had, especially now, like now that people have done it and you can make a career in the indies or go into other promotions, now especially nowadays. I was happy for him back then. I kind of wanted him to leave because like him, Dolph Ziggler, there's a lot of guys that were just stuck on being in the WWE but weren't used to what the fans and the person themselves thought they could be capable of. And I feel like Cody Rhodes is really Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, Dolph Ziggler, even though Ziggler fucked up by not leaving a couple of times where he should have had left. Matt Cardona, you know, names like that revolutionized the indie scene and made it so you don't have to create value to your name only in WWE. You could go outside of WWE. Now you could go outside of WWE. You got AEW, you got Ring of Honor, that's now a part of AEW, which I feel like they should be utilizing that brand better, almost to like an NXT type of vibe, but that's not my show and I don't own it. So I'm just saying Ring of Honor for AEW should be like a developmental system, but I don't own that shit. So Tony Khan, if you happen to stumble on this video, just hear me out. But yeah, Cody Rhodes definitely was one of those ones that I think really put being able to work outside of WWE and to make a name for yourself outside of WWE a thing. You know what I'm saying? Drew, like I said, Drew, Ziggler now, but he should have left. We can all agree on that. He should have left a long time ago. But Yeah.
Promotions like Ring of Honor, New Japan, and eventually, he helped found the biggest competition WWE had seen in decades, AEW. These days, people talk about the Forbidden Door, TNA partnering with WWE, AEW acquiring Ring of Honor, and working with New Japan. But it was Cody who built that door. By breaking down WWE's monopoly, Cody carved out a path for talents like Jon Moxley, Matt Cardona, and others who went on to prove that WWE isn't the only route to success. By the time Cody returned to WWE, he was already a bona fide superstar, and WWE treated him like one. His feud with the Bloodline went on to become one of the most compelling stories the company had told in years. And at WrestleMania 40, Cody finally finished his story. He won the title his legendary father never could. From undesirable to undeniable, it was the prologue of his lifelong struggle, and standing beside him was John Cena. And Cena reminded him the title grows heavier every day. And who better to say it? John Cena carried the weight of the business for over a decade. He did it every single night, even when...
It's so ironic to mention Cena now, and look at where we're at, where Cena is now a heel, proving what he's saying kind of to a point where the championship does add weight. And like, just to see where we're at now in 2025, like, who would ever thought we would see John Cena, especially on this last go around, become a heel? Like, I wasn't expecting that, especially, I'm not gonna say a lot, Elimination Chamber, that shit. In real time, I was like, oh, like, he's the one that's going to end up turning heel, because it makes sense. And I heard some people on the in the IWC talking about it in their video. Shout out to JD from New York, because I always I tune into his live podcast when I can. He was definitely one of the ones saying that. A couple people online were saying that John Cena was going to be the one. I honestly, when they started pointing out reasons, I was like, all right, that makes sense, because, you know, we don't really need, at this point, Cena's really not, especially because, trust me, it's his last go around. I don't think he's lying about that. Especially when he's on his way out, why not just, you know, be the heel, be the bad guy? You know, you don't need to, the kids don't need you. They got Jey Uso, they got Cody Rhodes, they got a couple people they could root for, especially nowadays. I feel like back then, the reason why it was so hard to turn Cena heel or do certain things is because of the kids. Me being part of that, I guess, in a sense. But I would say I was more so towards the cooler John Cena, and then it just got oversaturated. I was still always a Cena fan, but like when it got to where he started wearing different colors and all this Superman shit, that's where I feel like it got toxic. But for the most part, in the beginning, John Cena was cool. But, you know, the older adults at the time, which I was like second, third grade, elementary school, basically watching wrestling when I started. You know, the adults didn't like him, you know, because, you know, they used to their generation of Stone Cold or Hulk Hogan or The Rock or somebody of that time that they used to watch. So Cena is not really their cup of tea, which my generation, we all love the man. Some of us still to this day, which I will say I do. That's my guy. That's my GOAT. I'm not gonna lie. And Randy Orton too, along as with that period of wrestlers. Shout out to Batista as well. But yeah, it's weird. Like it is weird to see my man's heel though. I ain't gonna lie. There's a lot of things, and there's a lot of stories to tell with just one heel turn, bro. And it's sad because we're getting it at the end. If this shit happened like 10 years ago, 2015, bro. If this shit happened earlier in the 2010s, bro, it would have been well received and well needed, because I feel like at a point Cena did get stale. His gimmick got stale. It's just he has charisma and just the personality to keep himself afloat. And of course the booking of Vince McMahon behind him. But now it's like, damn, like I wish they did it like early in his career, because we could have saw a lot of things. Like there's not enough times to tell a lot of things that could have been told back then, because this is his last year, so there's not enough time.
fans turned on him, even when sold-out arenas riots when he wins. His words, 20 years of a toxic, dysfunctional relationship can be brushed off as just another heel promo. But in truth, that's the reality the human John Cena lived, beneath the gimmick. But he didn't back down. He turned memes into merch. He turned relentless hatred and disrespect into fuel for his fire. Rise Above Hate wasn't just a slogan for a t-shirt. It was the code wrestling's last true guardian lived by. He never gave up on his principles. He never took shortcuts. He lived the words he preached: hustle, loyalty, respect. So when Cena speaks, it matters. We've seen the weight of the crown crush many before him, but Cena wore that burden with the strength of Atlas for decades. But Cody, he didn't even survive a few months before it all started to fall apart. And that's why today, we're breaking down why Cody Rhodes has failed as champion and why John Cena's brutal attack on Cody was justified. Cody Rhodes was never meant to be the face to carry the torch from Cena. It was always supposed to be Roman Reigns. Even Dusty would have agreed.
With your dad, he told me you were his favorite son, but Roman Reigns was the son he always wanted.
Back in Roman's early days in NXT, it was Dusty who saw the spark in him.
Imagine your dad really saying that. I hope that wrestling-wise, I know Dusty. I feel like Dusty would have said that, but like just human, like that's actually being son. I don't think he mean it like that. Like if he could have a wrestling son, like to build from scratch, it'd probably be Roman, but Cody is, especially when he first started, there was nothing wrong with Cody. Still to this day, even though, I mean, the blonde hair grew on me over time. Like, it's been years now since he's been rocking the blonde as a, like, tribute to his pops as well. But for years now, I feel like when Cody first started, he's just bland, gimmick. I remember when he first came with Hardcore Holly and all this stuff. And like he turned on Holly and enjoyed Ted DiBiase, and then Legacy. From Legacy on, I feel like they dropped the ball with him. Like that's totally true. Like after Legacy, they either should have kept Legacy going for a couple more years, or if they were gonna break it up, at least put like Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes in a position to be up next. Like I feel like that definitely should have catapulted them to at least a decent, like not main event, but like glass ceiling of mid card. Like they should be one of the top mid cards on their way to being main eventers. But as we saw, it didn't happen.
According to Roman himself, Dusty was critical early on as far as instilling confidence. He saw the man I would become, opposed to what I was looking at in the mirror. I've lived with that and carried that with me anytime I have doubts. WWE put all their chips in Roman Reigns and pushed him beyond the moon, but the crowd didn't connect with him. No matter how hard WWE tried to make Roman their top dog, his cookie-cutter, bland babyface persona was too dry to impress anyone. Roman grew frustrated, and the last straw came during the pandemic, when he missed a significant stretch of time due to health concerns. When he came back, he gave WWE an ultimatum: turn him heel, or he walks. WWE wasn't in a position to lose its top talent, so they folded. John Cena was semi-retired. Seth Rollins' momentum had collapsed after the horror of Hell in a Cell. Daniel Bryan and Edge were in the final legs of their careers. WWE desperately needed a new face to carry the company, and this is where Cody stepped in. A few years ago, Cody co-founded AEW, the first real competition WWE had faced since the fall of WCW. He had the potential to become the biggest superstar in the company. But in a shocking decision that marked the beginning of his downfall in AEW, Cody introduced a stipulation. If he lost his match against inaugural champion Chris Jericho, he would never challenge for the AEW World title again. He lost that match. And that's when the slow burn of Cody's decline.
Sorry guys. To this day, I wonder why he made that stipulation for himself, or why was that stipulation made? Because at that point, did he know he wasn't going to stay, or... Like, I always wondered that, like, because for you to just randomly say, I can never, like, what if you wanted to go back there and win the title? Like, I'm not opposed to it. Fuck it. Like, having another company is great for business, is great for wrestling in general. Having multiple companies fight is great for business and great for wrestling in general. But leave in the comments below. Do you ever see Cody Rhodes? I don't. Only because of where we're at now. I don't see it happening, but I can see it. Like, I can see him going back if AEW is still around at this point. Going back like towards like not the super decline, like where he's like, all right, I'm like out the door, but like before that, like maybe 2 years before that, we could get him over there. I feel like that's where that's a possibility. Not saying it's gonna happen.
Began. Soon, he found himself stuck in forgettable feuds, constantly ambushed by debuting ex-WWE stars, drifting in the mid-card, fighting for the TNT Championship. Fans desperately wanted him to turn heel, to go back on his word, to finally chase the AEW title again.
Why I won't turn heel? It's because you cheered me when I needed the most.
But Cody stayed true to the promise he made. He had every tool to be a main eventer, but AEW never pulled the trigger. So in 2022, he made the call. He returned to WWE as a mystery opponent for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, and kicked off a 3-match rivalry that delivered banger after banger, including a 5-star classic inside Hell in a Cell, a match he wrestled with a torn pec that would sideline him for the rest of the year. He returned at the 2023 Royal Rumble, lasted till the end, and won it, setting up a clash with Roman Reigns, who was in his god mode and in the middle of a historic title reign already 900+ days long. Everyone expected Cody to finish the story and write the next chapter, but Roman Reigns rewrote it instead. And yet, Cody didn't fade into the background. Throughout the rest of the year, he kept fighting. He slayed beasts, earned respect, kept delivering top-tier matches, and cut some of the best promos in the company. In the 2024 Royal Rumble, he made history. Back-to-back wins, and he pointed once again straight at Roman Reigns. But before he could get there, another roadblock stepped in: The Rock. He came with a dream match proposal.
Get it? Roadblock, The Rock. Let me stop.
Him versus Roman. A battle for the head of the table. A match too big to ignore between two of the greatest WWE ever created. WWE couldn't resist, so Cody stepped aside. He gave up his opportunity for The Rock. But the fans said otherwise. What started with chants and tweets quickly became a full-blown rebellion. They hijacked WWE programming with a movement, "We want Cody," and WWE was forced to pivot. The title match was back on the table. An injured Seth Rollins stepped in to help Cody in a tag match against Roman and The Rock, but they failed. The rematch became Bloodline rules. Cody had to survive a gauntlet. Roman, Jimmy, Solo, The Rock, one assault after another, but he didn't stand alone. He brought reinforcements, and when the smoke cleared, Cody Rhodes ended Roman's dominance once and for all. He finished the story. He won the title his father never could. Once undesirable, now undeniable, crowned as undisputed champion. But here's the thing, he didn't just finish his own story, he also finished the story of everyone who believed in him. That includes me, you, every fan who stood by him. And it was also the story of everyone who stood beside him during his war against what might be the most dominant faction and champion in WWE history. And it was the story of this guy. Back in 2000, a 14-year-old Kevin...
I'm not gonna lie to you. Bruno Sammartino is probably the... I found out this man had an 8-year title run. Imagine Roman's title run for 4 more years. Yo, I would have been sick of that shit, bro. Oh my god. They said that man had an 8-year title run talking about Roman. No, 8 years? Dominant in the modern era, but not no fucking all-time dominance. 8 years, bro.
Steen laced up his boots in Canada, chasing a dream, inspired by the American dream. Dusty Rhodes didn't look like the prototypical wrestler, neither did Kevin, but Dusty made you believe that charisma, grit, and heart could take you further than looks ever could. Owens grinded for nearly 14 years across the indies, from PWG to Combat Zone Wrestling to Ring of Honor. By the time he signed with NXT, he was already an indie icon, but WWE was a different beast. a machine that could chew up a fresh face and spit them out forgotten. And that's when he met Dusty. By then, Rhodes had long retired from the ring. He was the creative head of NXT, head writer, promo coach, mentor. For 10 months, Dusty took Owens under his wing, helped him sharpen his voice, taught him that in WWE, being yourself was the key to survival. Owens has said those 10 months left a bigger mark than some wrestlers feel in a decade. At Survivor Series War Games, he wore Dusty's t-shirt and red elbow pad as a show of gratitude. When Cody waged his war against the Bloodline, he wasn't alone. The prizefighter had already been at war for years. When Roman manipulated,
And that's why Kevin is right,
everyone to fall in line by gaslighting or by force, Kevin was the first one to stand against him. He called the tribal chief a fraud, a manipulator, and a man who abused his family for personal gain. But every word fell on deaf ears. Kevin Owens had taken every shot, beaten, broken, molded by the Bloodline's dominance. Yet he never folded. He fought back with grit, with pain, and with memory. He was the first to stand by Cody's side, not just as an ally, but as a brother in arms. He understood the weight of legacy. He knew what it meant to be told you don't belong. And it wasn't just Owens. Sami Zayn arrived in WWE with doubts hanging over him, a masked indie talent from a different background, unsure if his style or voice would fit the WWE mold. Dusty changed that. He saw the soul behind the performer. He encouraged Sami to speak from truth, to draw on real emotion. That's how Zayn's underdog persona was born. Not from marketing, but from raw honesty. He once called Dusty a beacon of hope, a light in a system that didn't always welcome difference. Sami Zayn, twice manipulated by Roman Reigns, twice pulled under his shadow, finally broke free. He escaped the illusion, and when he did, he joined Cody's war, not as a tag-along, but as a soldier with something to prove. Together with Owens, they gave Cody more than support. They gave him a real shot. But even that wasn't enough, because the Bloodline grew. Their influence exploded. When the final boss arrived, everything changed. The Rock didn't just interfere, he hijacked Cody's moment. He took the spotlight, the main event, the very legacy Cody had fought to restore. He mocked the American dream. He stomped on Dusty's name. He laid waste to everything Dusty Rhodes ever built, and smiled while doing it. And Cody found his shield in the most unlikely of places. During his early days, Seth Rollins came in hot, already battle-tested as Tyler Black, but he clashed with Dusty early on. The rebel in Rollins didn't always mesh with the old-school instincts of Rhodes, but Dusty didn't smother that fire. He shaped it. He challenged Seth to channel it, to slow down, speak with purpose, tell stories that matter. Rollins later called Dusty not just a mentor, but a friend, the one who helped him find his voice. So when Cody was facing the biggest odds and the strongest version of the Bloodline, with the final boss now in play, Seth stepped in as his shield. The same man who once stabbed Roman Reigns in the back with a chair and shattered the shield. The man who helped create the monster now known as the Tribal Chief. Rollins stood with Cody, not for glory, but for redemption, to right a wrong, to help destroy the reign he once unknowingly helped build. Owens and Zayn had already taken the first brick out of the Bloodline's empire when they dethroned the Usos and ended their historic tag team reign. But Seth gave more. He sacrificed everything. He walked into WrestleMania with a broken body. He fought alongside Cody as his tag partner. He lost his own world title to Drew McIntyre, not because he was outmatched, because he was focused on something bigger than gold, justice. And when Cody finally faced Roman in the chaos of the Bloodline rules match, the odds were stacked. The ring became a battlefield, and when the dust finally settled, only 3 men remained: Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. That's when Roman lost focus. He stopped defending his throne. He reached for revenge. A chair shot aimed at Seth echoed through time. The same way Seth had betrayed Roman all those years ago. Roman now repeated history, but it wasn't a killing blow. It was the opening Cody needed. He struck. He hit the crossroads and finished the story. Now, Cody wasn't just the undisputed champion. He was the face of the company, the man on the posters, the man who had to carry the weight that once crushed even the strongest. And what did Cody do? He failed. When he faced his first real threat, the fractured but dangerous new bloodline, now led by Solo Sikoa, Cody stood against the numbers, against the chaos. But he didn't stand alone. He had Kevin Owens and Randy Orton by his side fighting for him. But Cody never fought his own wars. When it came time to defend the one thing that mattered, his championship, he didn't trust the men who bled for him. He didn't trust the ones who sacrificed everything to help him reach the top. He shook hands with Jey Uso, the same man who had tormented Kevin Owens for years as part of the bloodline. And even that wasn't enough, because Jey was on Raw, so Cody shook hands with the devil himself, Roman Reigns, the man who ruled WWE with an iron fist, the man who caused years of torment and suffering for KO and Sami, the man who broke Seth Rollins, fractured the roster, and manipulated his family into blind obedience. Cody aligned himself with the empire he was supposed to bring down. And Cody didn't just shake Roman's hand, he smiled while doing it. He preached forgiveness while reopening wounds that had barely healed. As Mick Foley once said, it's not about the scars on the outside, it's the ones on the inside that never heal. The scars Cody reopened will never heal. Then finally, John Cena arrived, on the final leg of a legacy that spanned more than 2 decades. Chasing his elusive 17th world title, chasing immortality, Cena returned once again, draped in the mask of hustle, loyalty, and respect. But deep down, he was a man hollowed out by years of scars. Royal Rumble was a failure. Elimination Chamber was salvation. But something changed that night. For over 20 years, Cena carried this company on his back, while crowds booed him out of buildings, while they hurled "You can't wrestle" in his face, while they begged for.
Hear me out. So this talks from this what am I about to say? From this last episode of Raw, there has been talks in John Cena's promo this week of possibly, if he wins, bring it back to spinner belt, right? Here's my take on that real quick. One, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be opposed to the idea, and here's why. If John Cena, as long as John Cena is the only person that has that title, because that title was his title. Like, I don't care what nobody says. That was for him. That's his title. That's why when some other people wore it, it looked weird. Some people it looked great on, some people it didn't. We're not going to get into full detail of who and who. All right. I say this to say that if he wins, beat Cody, bring back the title, I feel like if he does say what he's going to do and leave with the title, I feel like if he leaves with the spinner belt, he should leave with the PG era. That's all I'm saying. The PG era started and needs to end with him in that title. If both of those things is gone now, I feel like WWE should like pivot towards a new type of, especially now that y'all on Netflix. Y'all over here bleeping out the cuss word. I get it. Kids are watching, but they're bleeping stuff out as if they're still on network television. But like I said, I get it. There are kids watching. I feel like now we need to find that balance of adult and to make it kid friendly, but less catered towards, because obviously WWE's they're more on the rise right now than the last 2-3 years. Now they growing up, so especially with viewership in adults, I feel like that's something they should do. Like, let that title leave with Cena and let that era of WWE officially leave with Cena. Like, he's carried that whole period of the PG era. Once he's retired, if he wins back the title, he brings back the spinner belt. Let that be an indication of a new era. Let's try to make WWE, yes, still kid friendly to watch for the young ones, but also cater to their more mature audience, their older audience that are returning back into the product. I feel like that's one thing that they should do in order to like reset this whole thing. Because even I don't even know if there's a brand split right now. I feel like what they should do, since Cody's popping up on Raw, I feel like, and the reason why I feel like Cody's on Raw so much is because they're trying to get everyone used to him, used to the WWE champion being on Raw again. Granted, Gunther hasn't been shown on SmackDown. Here and there he has, but for the most part right now, no, because he's facing Jey Uso, which they're both on Raw. I don't know why Cody's been on Raw and why this stuff with John Cena has been mostly on Raw. I last time I checked, John Cena's a free agent, if you want to call him that. But I feel like besides the point of John Cena retiring just the PG era with the Spinner Belt and himself, I feel like after that, I feel like if y'all gonna bring back the W title back to where it was, they need to switch. Like World Heavyweight need to be on SmackDown, WWE title need to be on Raw, and it need to be 2004 or 5 again. Like with that one, like they need to be switched. Let Gunther go to SmackDown. Gunther was a great SmackDown superstar. I feel like him having a world title on SmackDown would elevate that show as well. And if you got Cody on Raw, you got CM Punk, got Seth Rollins, got Roman Reigns, it's great. I feel like Drew, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, and whoever else is in that type of realm, I feel like they would be suited off to carry the SmackDown brand for a couple years until we mix it up or whatever, for however long, but until y'all want to mix it up. But I feel like that's where I feel like this whole, how is it, charade or the story should go. I feel like Cena should definitely, without a doubt, if he brings back the Spinner Belt, it needs to end that era of WWE. The PG era needs to end. As soon as he said, if he leaves with that title, but if he's championship all the way up to the end, if he has a title, and it's the Spinner Belt. I love the Spinner Belt. That was what. Yes, it does look like a toy. Yes, it is a toy because I had it as a fucking toy. Not gonna lie. But it does need to end that era of WWE with him in that title. And I feel like that's just a great way to initiate something different if we do that.
Anyone to take his spot. They cheered his failures, mocked his loyalty, celebrated his absence. And now, those same fickle fans throw their support behind a paper champion like Cody Rhodes. So Cena snapped, not with words, with fists, with brutality, with steel to Cody's face and blood on his knuckles. At Elimination Chamber, John Cena dismantled Cody Rhodes. He sent a message to the fans who spat on his legacy, and to the company that replaced him with a man unworthy of the crown. And what did Cody do when he stood face to face with that legacy on Raw? Nothing. Not a single punch. No defiance. Because Cody Rhodes is incapable of action when it matters most.
All I'm saying is they're doing one more face to face, and I hear that's John Cena's last appearance before WrestleMania. All I'm saying, this last one, hopefully it's not the last one, because I don't know how many weeks we have until WrestleMania is. Let me see something. The 19th or something like that. Yeah, the 19th to the 20th, I believe. And that is, we got what? 1, 2, 3 weeks. So we got 3 weeks. If Cena's supposed to be on one more show, something gotta be. We don't they gotta speed this up just a tad bit. This last promo made sense. It explains a little bit more, but if we want to do another, John Cena comes out, explain why he hates the fans and this, that, and the third again, and then Cody Rhodes says, well, you're not gonna do nothing about it, so what's up? And then nothing else sparks, but Cena just does this and leave again. Excuse me. Like, you guys gotta do something, especially if Cena's not coming back till WrestleMania. You gotta do something.
Other man with pride in his blood would have gone to war right there. But Cody, he just stood there, talking about how Cena had changed, saying he wanted the real John Cena. That's the kind of man Cody Rhodes is. You can crush his father's dream, brutalize his friends, tear their bodies apart, and Cody will offer forgiveness like a greeting card and shake your hand like nothing happened. You can disrespect his family's legacy, beat him bloody, and he'll sip tequila with you after the show. You can drop him on his head, try to end his career, and he'll just cry in promos like he always does, because Cody can't do anything, and WWE knows it. They've protected Cody because because they know the truth. Cena would eat him alive on the mic, rip the facade apart, strip him down to the corporate avatar he's become. That's why Cena didn't just break Cody's body, he shattered the illusion. He stood in the center of the ring and declared he would take the WWE Championship and walk out of the company with it. And Cody still did nothing. No fight, no fury, no fire, because deep down, even he knows he can't stop it. I wanted to love Cody Rhodes. I believed in his story. Like so many others, I connected with the journey, the dreamer, the outcast.
I ain't gonna lie, how this turned into like a hate toward. I thought it was the rise, the fall and the rise. Why? How the hell did this turn into that?
The man who walked away to carve his own path. I believed he was the perfect man to dethrone Roman Reigns. I believed he was the successor to Dusty's legacy. I believed. But belief fades when reality takes its place. Cody's championship reign has been hollow, past the bloodline saga. No substance, no storyline, no edge, no bite, just hollow speeches and stitched together tag alliances with people who bled for him, while he shook hands with the men who hurt them. He isn't the fighting champion he claims to be. He's not a symbol of hope, he's a coward, clinging to a title he doesn't deserve. He had every opportunity to evolve, every reason to let the mask slip and become
Bro, why are you violating?
something real. A little darkness, a little pride, some bite behind the bark. But Cody Rhodes never changed. He's not the Homelander. He's a cookie-cutter babyface, cosplaying as a hero while better men pay the price for his crown. He deserved the beating The Rock gave him. He deserved the wrath of John Cena, and more than anything else, he deserves to lose that title, because only then will we finally get the champion we deserve. Not a fraud with a belt. Cody's story may be finished, but Cena's final story is just getting started. And when WrestleMania comes, it won't be Cody Rhodes walking out as the face of WWE. It'll be the man who never needed the fan, never needed the sympathy, the man who endured the hate, let himself burn in the endless fire, and rose back from the ashes every single time. This won't be a championship match, it'll be an execution. No gold, no glory, just judgment. Cody's time is up. Cena's last time is now. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss what's coming next. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.
Shout out to Wrestle Fun, man. I don't know how the ending turned into that, but hey, that's his opinion. I feel like a lot of wrestling fans, you guys, everybody says, you guys are you are tough people to please, honestly. If you really think about it, some of y'all are really tough to please. Like, even for bro, and it blows minds because this has been putting out so much bullshit for at least a decade, and Triple H has put us in a direction to put the stock in, well, WWE at least. I was gonna say wrestling, but mostly WWE. Put the stock in WWE back up. Like, wrestling, or at least WWE, is like a trending thing again amongst what's the word, amongst people. Like, it's trending again, it's popping again, it's lit again, it's cool to watch wrestling, to be a wrestling fan again in the eyes of social media and the media itself. Used to be sharp. It was never like that. It was oh, you're a lame, you watch wrestling still? I do. I don't give a fuck. That's just me though. Like, but I feel like a lot of y'all just don't appreciate like what we got now, because bro, like I said, for the last 10 years, the last decade, Vince McMahon has been feeding us garbage and dog shit, and there was no competition. It was just them. At least in the United States, there was no competition. If you want to call TNA competition, TNA could have been competition, but when they got to the point of Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, and all that shit happening, I think that's when they were going up, and then they went straight the fuck down. But even eventually, TNA wasn't going to be big enough to beat WWE. Now that Vince is out of the equation, I see a lot of people still. It's like, for some reason, y'all want Vince. Y'all want Vince, but y'all want the Vince that we know we're not gonna get. Like, I get that y'all want Vince from like the 90s, the early 2000s, a little bit of the 2010s. But we're not gonna get that, and I feel like Triple H, he can't, especially in the society we are now, he can't do the thing. You can't bring back the Attitude Era now. You crazy? Look at this. Look at the world, like how it is right now. You really think people gonna be okay with the Attitude Era right now? On how you can't, like, bro, I got in trouble for doing, this DX versus this DX chop. We was getting in trouble for doing this, not this. So imagine like in 2025, you trying to be, you can't really, you like, don't get me wrong, end the PG era, but make it so it's not as like as fucking ridiculous, not ridiculous, but as edgy. Like, you can't be that edgy no more, especially in this society per se. You really can't. Like, if you really think about the shit that they were doing back then, you can't do that now. Like, people will fucking boycott you, protest you, or do all these things to you. So stop complaining, enjoy the ride. Like The Rock said, enjoy the ride that they're taking us on, because to me it's been, for the past 2 years, or 3 if you want to count it, 2-3 years, I've enjoyed the rate that WWE is going. I enjoy the direction they've been heading. I enjoyed what I've been seeing on TV versus the last decade. So I have no complaints. There's things that need to be improved, need to make sense, needs to be adjusted, needs to be corrected. There's a lot of things, but versus the last 10 years, the last of Vince McMahon versus the first 2-3 years of Triple H, I'll take that first 2-3 years versus the last 10 years of Vince any day right now. Vince was terrible at the end. Terrible, y'all know it. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all for watching this little video with me, the rise and fall of Cody Rhodes. I don't know how the hell he's still falling, but again, that's something that I got a problem with. I think he's doing fine. Yes, the storytelling and the booking of him is not the best. Maybe he could be a little more emotional, a little more aggressive, but you gotta remember he is the top babyface, and you know, Cena wasn't always like Cena. I loved when Cena was more so not the super Cena, but like maybe a military Cena, because if he got his ass beat the next week, he will come out, even if he's a babyface, no emotion, and straight just run to the ring though. Nigga up. That's what I missed. I guess that's what some of y'all missed too. Don't get me wrong, I missed that stuff too, but you can't always be, you have to let Cody carve his own niche and his own legacy to leave behind, at least in WWE. I don't feel like he needs to go 100% of a John Cena or whoever he's trying to be like, or use inspiration from. At the end of the day, he went on the indies, made himself a star on the indies by working hard as always and just doing his thing. And now he rose his stock up, his value up, and WWE say, hey, we want you back. And that's what a lot of guys, Dolph Ziggler, which he's doing now, which is great. But if Dolph did that earlier in his career, I feel like he would have definitely been better off than doing it later. But never late than never. At least he's out there doing, experience different things. Nick Nemeth, shout out to you. Yes, I know his new wrestling name. But yeah, like I said, thank you guys for watching this video. As always, go check out Russell Fun, check out his channel. All that information will be in the description below. Check out the Rob Cam Show, subscribe to this channel, and leave a like on this video. As always, keep doing your thing, baby, and make it make sense. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace. And also, one last thing. Book El Generico versus El Grande Americano, because I want to see that shit. I don't care if it's too racist. I'm sorry, but that shit would be lit to see. I'm sorry. I want to see it. I see y'all next one.